I'm realizing now that I did the unboxing for the Loop Engage 2 Plus months ago, and I haven't followed up on them. I haven't talked about how they're working for me, especially as a blind person, but more in general as a product. Are these worth it? Let's talk about these little earplugs. Again, these are the Loop Engage 2 Plus earplugs. It's a mouthful, but I picked these up sometime during kind of the summer. Maybe even end of last school year. I don't remember. I was with a group that was really challenging me auditorily because the room that I was teaching in at the time every day actually sounded a lot like this room does, except more so. So you're hearing a lot of echo in this room. That room had very reflective surfaces, still does, and I don't find myself in there quite as often. But I picked these up from Loop, and no sponsor, nothing like that. This is just my review. And in order to demonstrate some of the points that I am going to be talking about, I'm actually going to put these in a minute. But so I picked these up primarily for the purpose of working with kids, being that these are essentially the most hearing allowant, if that's a term, product that Loop offers. Essentially, it knocks the least amount of decibels, allows in the most sound of any of Loop's earplug products that they have at the moment. And I wanted something that would allow me to focus in on the kids I'm working with, or to kind of dim the noise of a space, because I get really overwhelmed auditorily being visually impaired. So I'm actually going to take them out and I'm going to put them in and talk about my next couple of points. So just for proof on the camera, I do have them in right now, and there is a term for the voice in your head that I am remembering as I'm thinking about not being able to remember it. It's called the occlusion effect. And essentially what this is anytime you speak where your ears are covered, or you're wearing headphones, things like that, you're going to hear your own voice in your head, and that's called the occlusion effect. Any earplug you're ever going to use is going to have the occlusion effect present, and the Loop are no exception. But what I find is that I'm more able to modulate my voice, and so to me right now, this is the same volume and intonation that I typically use when I'm recording things like this. And if I needed to get the class's attention over here, I can raise my voice and not feel like I'm yelling just because I'm wearing earplugs. And that's not extraordinarily common. I do have another set of earplugs that I kind of keep as a backup, and the occlusion on those is so much stronger that it's annoying. And so I only use them if I have to. So I do find myself very frequently reaching for the Loops, because I feel like, especially when there's other noise present, right now I'm getting a lot of that occlusion effect. I'm getting a lot of my voice in my head, but it's because I'm sitting in a relatively quiet room with no other noises, and I am focused on that sound in particular. It actually also might be because I just cleaned them, and so there's more humidity, and so the seal on them is a little stronger. They're as comfortable as earplugs are ever going to be, in that they fit, they feel okay, they don't hurt. But if I find myself wearing them for more than like 15-20 minutes at a time, at least for me personally, I find that they just get a little bit omnipresent, a little bit annoying. And so it's not bad. It's not anything that I would say is like a bad reflection on the Loop. If anything, for my use case, this tends to work really well. So I'm going to take them out, and now I can keep talking. And yeah, I feel like I'm using the same voice. I actually feel like I sound a lot quieter now because, again, that occlusion effect is gone. So in terms of reviewing these as a product, one of the things that's really hard, no matter what content you're going to watch online about Loop or any other kind of earplug, is how do you review an earplug, right? Everyone's hearing is different in the first place. How we respond to different frequencies is going to change person to person, situation to situation. And so, again, what I tend to use these for is, for example, if we go into our cafeteria at lunchtime and I'm sitting at my table with my second and third graders or my fourth and fifth graders, when I wear these, it's easier for me to focus on the noise directly around me, and the chatter from a couple tables over or across the room tends to be, it's not that it's faded or it's gone, but it just it knocks it down just enough. In those situations, I still get overwhelmed because the amount of sound, even though it's quieter, the amount of different audio sources, voices coming at one time is still overwhelming. And so this doesn't like solve everything. And I'm not sure how something more active, like for example, the AirPods have active noise canceling. I haven't tried those specifically, so I have no idea what the difference would be in terms of being able to focus on the individual kids around me. But as far as these go, my best use for these is when I'm in a small group that's really loud. So for example, and just for context, I work with kids from kindergarten all the way to 18 years old. And so in different groups, I'm experiencing very different noise levels, very different things across different age groups. And so for example, our middle and high schoolers have a dance program. And on occasion, if I'm running sound for them, as I did last week during our show that we did, I had to put these in during certain mixes that we had because they were really intense and I was sitting right up by the speaker. So I had to put these in order to knock the noise down just enough to make it functional. And I could occasionally still hear directions if I was, asked to stop the music and things like that. It was kind of hard to pick those out. But that's not my primary use case. My main use case for these, like I said, small groups. If there's a group that's really loud and I'm saying, hey, guys, y'all are 3 feet away from each other. Please stop screaming. And if that doesn't do the job and they don't stop screaming, I have these. So Loop Engage 2 Plus, at least in my experience, are really good for what I would call pocket sessions. 5, 10, 15 minutes of I need to put these in so that I can hear you as compared to the noise around both of us. I need to be able to pay attention to my small group during a group activity. I'm going to put these in so that I can kind of narrow my focus to the groups directly around me. I have not tried any other specific earplugs from Loop, so I have no point of reference in terms of Loop specifically. But in the unboxing video for these, which I will link in the description if I remember, I talked about a couple of other products as well. And I also have a comparison video, so I will try to link both of those if I can find them amidst the backlog. But I hope that this kind of look at these, this review, kind of me talking about my specific use case might be helpful for some folks. Again, hearing is so subjective, it's so different person to person. And so I don't want to give the impression that these solve all of my problems or that they suck, because they do neither of those things 100% of the time. I find that they are really useful for the specific things that I tend to use them most for. I have also taken these to a concert and worn them because the audio mixing was really bad, and so the highs and mids really hurt my ears. And so I found when I put these in, it was a little bit of a dimming experience, and so I felt like the concert itself was a little bit watered down, if you will, but it definitely took the painful points of the mix and knocked them down enough that I was comfortable. So you take your wins with your losses. Again, this is the Loop Engage 2 Plus earplugs. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them the best I can in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Peace.